How's it going, everybody? It's your boy Davey on everything, and welcome back to the podcast. This is Solo Show episode number 12. Today I'm going to be telling you guys about my entrance and exit into Christianity. Here we go. Okay, guys, so I've told at least one story about my time at the Catholic Church here on the podcast, and that was an episode about me being an altar boy. This episode, though, is going to basically be my escape from Christianity in the Catholic Church and where I'm at now and what it took me to get to the point where I am no longer a Christian and becoming whatever the hell I am now, agnostic, atheist, whatever you want to call it. That's where I'm at now. So from Christian to agnostic in 32 years. Okay, guys, so what I want to do is I want to preface this with a couple of different things. I got dogs are just running around my house right now. Kaya! You want to go back outside? Okay, but you got to stay outside. Okay, guys, bear with me for 1 second here. As far as my time at the church, it's kind of a different scenario. So my parents were never super religious people. We didn't really talk about God or Jesus at home. And, we didn't pray. We didn't do these things at home. But we went to church basically every Sunday from the time I was a small child or baby to I think I must have been about 14 years old when we really stopped going to church. And we stopped going to church mainly because, my parents' theory was that the church was a good thing because it... my parents, I think, figured that the church would instill a set of morals and ethical responsibility in me, and it was just a good thing overall. It kind of, even if I think it was a less focus on the divinity and the belief in Jesus, more on the kind of the values that you could get from going to church. And so we went every Sunday for the most part. We went Christmas and Easter, and we did all these holidays. And we were pretty dedicated parishioners. And, my brother turned 15. So I might have been 13 when this happened. My brother turned 15. He got a job at a grocery store. And that was going to be a weekend job. So meaning that he wouldn't probably be here for any more church sessions on Sundays. And that meant that he was going to go to church. And I think my mom made the decision to say, okay, guys, you've kind of maybe got all you were going to get from the church experience. We've done, kind of everything we could to keep you on the straight and narrow. We're not going to go to church anymore. And, Sundays are freed up to do whatever. And you got to understand that as a child that, I'm not going to lie to you, even though I was an altar server at the Catholic Church for a year or two, I didn't really care about being at church. Church was just like the super inconvenient thing that we had to do every Sunday. And I didn't really care to be there. So I was ecstatic when we didn't have to go to church anymore, because then that gave me, my entire Sunday would be freed up to do whatever I want. And I was heading into teenagehood and heading to high school soon. So, for me, having that full weekend was going to be, hopefully filled with social things, right? So like I said, we went to church every Sunday. I can say pretty confidently as a kid, I did believe in God, and I believed in Jesus, and I believed in the Bible as a whole. And, something that really reinforced my belief at that time, I remember when I was 12 years old, I think I was in grade 6, right? The church that was connected to my grade school, I went to a Catholic school as well. The church that was connected to my grade school, not physically connected to, but it was the parish of that grade school, they had this exhibit come through of the Shroud of Turin. Shroud of Turin. The Shroud of Turin is basically like this veil, this cloth that is covered in blood, and the blood stain on it is basically an image of a man, and the man resembles Jesus. So they think, and now trust me, they did not send the original copy of this to my dinky church in Kitchener. They sent a copy, a duplicate of it, so that people could see it. And it was going around to all the parishes at the time. So when that came up to my church, for the record, I did think it was the real version when it came. And I just remember thinking, holy shit, this is crazy. This is sorry, I didn't tell you. The Shroud of Turin is supposed to be the cloth that they laid over Jesus' body after the crucifixion, into burial. That's what the theory is. And I remember seeing this like, holy shit, that is insane that they have that. How would they ever come across that? How did they find that? And I remember having so many questions about it, and it really did have an impact on me. But it didn't really, I think that impact was short-lived, because I remember like through my high school years, I didn't even really think about church. I didn't really think about Jesus. I wouldn't have considered myself a believer. Now, with that being said, I know if there was times where, and this is like, to me, this is probably a lot of Christians, you're a very passive churchgoer until the time comes where you need help with something, and you feel like if you pray, you can, you can receive help from the heavens. So I know, like in times of stress or times where I felt hopeless, I would pray. And I would, I probably made promises that I didn't keep. And, but it definitely made me feel better about things, and would give you felt like you had something behind you that was going to help you. So, I probably did do that quite a bit in high school, but I really wasn't a practicing Christian at all. And it kind of just, there was all these years in between me being 14 and me being like 27, where religion just didn't even matter at all to me. I thought man-made religions were very, I just didn't think they were a good thing. And I really wasn't like anti-Christian for most of those times, but I really just thought, okay, this is a bunch of baloney and nobody cares. And, these people are crazy for believing in this. How did I ever believe in this? So, like I said, I was an altar server. I did weddings. I did funerals. I was part of the church. We went every Sunday. And, that changed when I was 13, 14 years old. Now, the only time we would go to church, and we did it every Christmas up until 2019, we went to Christmas we went to Mass every Christmas, and that's the only time we went to church, really. After the time that we had stopped going full-time, we would just go on Christmases. So that was that period of time. Fast forward a little bit farther, I would have been like maybe 26 or 27. I had got to the point in my life where I had accomplished pretty well like all the goals that I wanted to at that time. I got a house, I got my truck, I got licensed in my field. I had all these things going for me, and I really was kind of at the point where I'm like, okay, well, what's next? And I felt very lost. So what I decided to do was, I decided to, I remember having this moment where I was like, okay, I grew up this way. I did believe in this. Maybe there's something to it, and maybe I should go ahead and look back into this and see what it's about. And maybe this is the thing that's missing in my life that can fill the void that I'm feeling right now. So what I did was I started to dive into Christian material, and I decided to see what are the reasons why I should believe in this. And I really just took it one side, and I listened to one side of the coin, which was the Christian side. It convinced me why I should believe in this. And I watched all kinds of testimonies, and I actually did the Bible and audio book. And I looked at all these things, and I've listened to preachers and priests and all these people talk about Jesus and the church. And, I'm not going to lie to you. I was at the point where I was fairly convinced that this was all legit, all real, and there was no reason why I shouldn't believe in this. And, there's a cat. There's a cat. Hi, that's Emra. Okay, Emra. You don't know, but I'm recording. I know, you just want scratches. Okay, you can roll around here for a bit. So, I got to the point where... Okay, yep, I know. You like these things, eh? Okay, so... I was like pretty convinced that, okay, well, maybe this is for me, and maybe this is, all genuine and all real, and everything is, as the Bible says, and I was ready to believe. Of course, in the sake of being fair and genuine, I had to then go and see what the other side had to say. Why shouldn't I believe in these things? Why isn't Jesus real? Why is the Bible not something that should be taken serious? And I'll tell you this, I spent like countless hours listening to content, reading articles, reading books, reading whatever I could get my hands on about theories of why Jesus isn't real, why the Bible is made up, or maybe Jesus was real but he was a phony, or maybe it's all fake. And you can go a million different directions with that, and I just tried to explore all of them. So that's what I did. And it didn't take me long to figure out that where I stood in the whole thing. And that I looked, I'll tell you guys, it was like, I like to do debates. It was the biggest topic of my debates for a long time. And, I really did have all the arguments against it down pat. And I really came to the conclusion that my conclusion at the end of it actually was that, yes, Jesus was probably a real man. The crucifixion probably happened. And then at that point, at that point, it kind of all fell apart for me. So I really didn't believe in the risen Jesus, and I really didn't believe in the divinity of Jesus, or that Jesus was the Son of God. But I was pretty set on the idea that Jesus probably was a real man, and he was a living person, and everything. Maybe it wasn't he didn't purposely mislead us. Maybe the story got skewed over the course of time, or maybe it was just maybe he was a big phony. Those details didn't really matter to me. The idea that I kind of figured in my own mind that it wasn't real was enough. And I actually felt good in that decision because I developed a stance of, when people would ask me, like, oh, what do you believe in? Or do you think there's a God? Or do you think there's an afterlife? I could confidently just come and say, I don't know. I'm not sure about any of it. I don't know, and I think that's like perfectly fine to say is that you don't know. Because the truth be told is none of us know. There's no guarantees and there's no definite answers to these things. So, Emra, are you just going to stand right in front of the camera? Here, lie down right here. So, I know, you're going to fuck up my equipment here. You're going to screw up the sounds. Just lie down. Yeah, good girl. And I really dove into that for a year or two straight, a couple years straight, where, I got a copy of the Bible, and it really, really, really fascinated me. The whole subject fascinated me. And from there, I was able to look into other religions as well, not as studied, but, it kind of pushed me to see other perspectives. So Buddhism and Islam, and I learned about Mormonism and Church of Scientology and Church of Latter-day Saints, and really pushed this passion of mine that was religious history and religious knowledge. And when people would ask me, like, oh, you're really, you know a lot about this, you must be kind of a believer, I would say, no, I'm not a believer. To me, this all seems like mythology to me. So the way that some people look at the Greek gods or the Roman gods, I looked at modern day religions the same. Okay, Emra, come. Go here. Now, that was from like 26 to like 28, 29. I was really, really, really dove into these things. I'm now 32, and if you ask me where I stand on it, I think my position is still very similar. I have a girlfriend now that has kind of opened my eyes to a bit of the paranormal stuff, ghosts and demons and all this other crazy stuff, and again, I never really believed in any of these things up until the last couple weeks. I've had a shift in perspective. So I began to really look at, okay, so, I was watching some paranormal stuff on YouTube, and my stance is always like, this is bogus. There's a string on the door. They're pulling the door. Someone's behind the thing knocking, whatever it may be. This is all phony. Until, I started seeing some like people that I consider credible, backing this or getting involved in these things. And it's really made me question, like, okay, well, maybe I should give this a bigger chance, more of a chance. And then me and my girlfriend actually did like a seance or a ritual or something along those lines, whatever you want to call it. And I'm not going to lie, we did it twice in one day. The first time we did it, I'm not even going to front, it was very compelling. We were doing this trying to talk to spirits for about 3 hours one day. And that 3 hours flew by because we seemingly had some sort of experience. And again, it all could have been just a series of coincidence and like happenstances, but it really was compelling, and it kind of shifted the way I look at it a little bit. Now, I'm not completely sold because that later that night we had a second one, and the results were very random and inconclusive. So it kind of drew me back onto the other side a little bit more. But now I'm at the point where I'm very open to figuring out, is there some sort of afterlife? Can we, talk to spirits? Are there spirits? Do these things really exist, or are they just movies and books? So David at 32 years old is at the point where, no, I still don't really believe in the legitimacy of the Bible or the Quran. I don't really believe in the God of Abraham, so Judaism either. And I haven't really been sold on any of that. I think there's just too much evidence against it, and I just think that logically it doesn't really make a ton of sense to me. But I'm kind of inching towards it because I did have this like semi-legitimate experience, at least to me, and it's really made me think a lot about it. So I'm open to exploring that even more, and I'm going to explore that even more. It's just a matter of putting in some time and doing some more research and all these things. So, but yeah, guys, I really was my parents weren't really pushing Christianity on us, but I really did believe in it. And but again, I am at the point where I'm glad that I'm not in that world anymore, because I think it's fine to have your own spiritual beliefs, and I think it's fine to believe in something. I think it would actually be great to believe in something. But if you're going to believe in something like that, where it's like eternal doom or infinite paradise, I think you really, 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 really have to commit to it. I don't think there can be such thing as a halfway Christian. I think you're a full Christian and you're following the laws and the rules and the followings of teachings of Jesus, or you're not at all. So if I were to become a Christian, it would definitely alter my entire life, because I would really commit to something like that, and I would really try to assure that I made it to the other side on the right side, if you will. But I'm glad that I'm okay with the place I'm in now, because I don't have this like fear of infinite doom at the end of all this. I don't have this my moral compass is more driven on the idea that I want to see humans flourish. I don't do things that I wouldn't want other people to do to me. And I'm really driven by the idea that I want to just take care of me and mine. I think that you can have a moral compass and an ethical compass without having to have some divine being guiding you. Just figure out what. And that's kind of where I'm at now, guys. I try to be a decent human being. Of course, all these things are subjective when there's no objective morality. All these things are subjective. And to me, it seems obvious that morality is subjective, because if it wasn't, we wouldn't have people like, Adolf and Mao and Stalin and all these evil people that, they legitimately thought they were doing the right thing, or at least the thing that benefited them, and their moral compass wasn't the same as mine, obviously, and I hope nobody else's. So I'm fine with having my own subjective morality, and I at the end of the day, you just don't fuck people over is what it is, and try to be a decent human, and try to just be kind of kind, and but ultimately I'm looking out for me, and I'm looking out for my family more before anyone else. So okay, guys, so that is kind of the end of this episode. That's my journey with Christianity, my exit, my potential re-entry, and where I stand now. So if you like this video, you like this episode, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Give me a like, comment. Let me know where you guys stand on all this, what you believe. If you're a Christian, if you're a Muslim, whatever you may be, I would love to hear your viewpoints on this. Until next time, I'm Davey on everything. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Big cheese, no design on my jacket. Work hard, now I'm changing my bracket. Talk tough, we ain't hearing that racket. Dogs came in, you know how to stack it. Don't take it wrong, but I'ma need my ends though. I got tigers on my chest like Kenzo. Rail came, yeah, he putting that Benz though. Carol's here, man, you know he stay 10 toes. Big dog, man, you know I ain't worried. Bent up, so I'm talking real slurry. Got a blast, bro, I'm always in a hurry. Big Drake, shooting 30 like Curry. Take a yerky, ain't know he stay passed up. You don't catch him late night, then you asked out. No, Unc real, how to put an E-class up. They like, X nigga, how you take the fast ride? 2018, it was me and Big